us, at least, it affords us the opportunity to know what the environment is like and then what needs to be done in order to get ourselves properly integrated into the society. I want to thank everyone once again.
Yeah, you're welcome. But you haven't introduced yourself though.
Okay, so yeah, I did that in my first connect here. I
Okay.
will do that again.
Sure.
So my name is Atewalara Obayo. I was in Nigeria. I worked with Procter& Gamble for 18 years.
Okay.
And during the course of my career, I worked in all the sectors of supply chain, starting from the warehouse, moving
Okay.
into logistics, and then material planning. I did supply management, then finally P2P.
Okay.
Before I left Nigeria as an import and logistics planning person, and then I finally left in 2023. I came to Canada in June of this year, and since then I've been trying to see what I can do to get a job here.
Yeah.
I'm still looking.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, it's the experience. I mean, we're very familiar with this type of challenges. Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah, so it's a familiar experience, but one thing I will always say is that if we're going through this, I guess we need to have that mindset of learning, from that experience, whatever we're going through, what can we do differently to get better? So that is actually the attitude difference going forward. So um, nice to meet you, Odunayo. Any other
Thank you.
person want to introduce themselves? Okay. Yeah, the thing there, I need to also emphasize that every networking event, this one is part of it. Every networking event is a job fair, and unfortunately, a lot of people need to learn this because whenever you show up for an event, whatever that event is, you have to have that attitude that is similar to if you show up for an event. If you show up for an event and you cover your face at that event and they don't even know you, I mean, what will be the point of attending that networking event? So, um, I want to specifically say that because I see that over and over when people show up for online event. It is very, very important to realize that this is another opportunity for you to be able to connect with people in your industry who you might eventually build rapport with, and they might end up helping to connect you with your colleagues or even with opportunities in industry. If I don't see your face, I don't know who you are. Like you can't build trust with that. Like there's no way you can build trust with anybody, with that, because it's similar to going to an actual in person and then nobody sees you there. Nobody. So what's the point of attending it, right? We're not only here to just learn, we're also here to meet people. Let's have that mindset, okay, whenever we go for any networking event. So that said, let's start the session here quickly, because I know it's going to end up being a long one, so the earlier the better. So again, it's going to be the industry informational interview. Let me share my screen here. Oh, I need to bring this here actually because I want people on the. Okay. All right. Not sure you can see my screen right now. Oh, give me a sec. Let me quickly share it. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're talking about informational interview today. If you have not, if you didn't attend our session last week and you didn't attend the previous week, yeah, I would say go watch the recordings on YouTube. We have the recordings there. It will help you to actually be able to connect to what we're talking about today, which is informational interview. This particular session covers some of the challenges that a lot of us are dealing with. They tell you go and network, and then they don't really provide that context of what networking means. And this is one of the things that will help you to become more knowledgeable about what you should actually be doing in a networking scenario. Um, I think I've introduced myself earlier. We could go on to talk about the job search challenges itself. We like to do assessments because assessments actually give you an idea of where you are. Remember, we call this the job search roadmap. So the job search roadmap is a set of different activities that you need to be you need to integrate in here in Canada, and specifically getting a job within your desired industry. And so there are some specific things, and this is one of it. So we like to do assessment to actually evaluate for each one of you to have an idea of what you are doing at the moment and where does that place you on the job search roadmap so that you can learn what you need to be doing or to push you close to your goal of integrating here in Canada. And this is why we call these sessions the job search roadmap. So we'll have that interview and that assessment, and we'll talk about the reason for informational interviews, networking strategies that will help to further enhance your job search and integration. And then we'll look at some other things and what to do going forward. So the job search challenges, we talk about this every time so that you could really understand what you're dealing with, especially newcomers. So the first thing here is you have limited professional network in Canada. You had that back home, but the moment you decide to step on the plane and come to Canada, guess what? You lost all the social network, the professional networks you would have relied on when you were back home. So you need to build that here in Canada, if you understand what that means. The challenges here being that the social capital you have like is zero. You are starting from ground zero in Canada. Now, there's also other issue about the paperwork job search, which is really what we have been taught, right from university days, and even maybe before that, we've been told how job search works. Even here in Canada, when you come and go to these social services, they will tell you about how job search works. But doing my own research, I realized that like all of these things that they are teaching us is just a paperwork job search, which the reality of the industry is that that is the least, the minimum that you get a job in Canada. So think about it, if it's then help you get Canada as soon as you can. So, and this is why it is really frustrating for people to like being affected, the only biggest and once you have followed the process, you go see daily experiences. So should I give up and just focus on be pay my bills? And then the last one here is the lack of Canadian work experience. Major issue. There are other issues, but these are the ones that money. Canadian work you don't have that you claim you can do. Another barrier for you as a that will help address some of these issues, leveraging referrals. I'm sure you guys know referrals, and this also connects on like people really know about referrals, right? But does referral works? I guess about your approach at the end of the day. Get a mentor, so you need to ask somebody who actually is helping to guide. We provide that in our network. That's what we're doing here. It's about mentoring professionals in our network that are through this and share that. Also, you are asked to go to, you might be able to find mentors there, people who also have gone through these challenges themselves and they're willing to share their experiences with you. Job search strategy. So we hit on working about the day that you need to socialize your job search. So I say this way that if you're working on a project, you realize that there are others on that successful outcome of that project. If you're working with the stakeholders and you hope that project will succeed, guess what? Then think too much. Want to actually to get the job. I'm talking about the hiring managers. I'm talking about the HR folks. Yourself, you're a stakeholder. You're in the industry, are your stakeholders. I mean, stakeholders as well. SWOT resume. SWOT resume is one that talks about making sure that the ATS eat up your resume. That your applications don't end up in the black holes, where nobody sees what has happened to your application. So a lot of people also experience that, right? You want to make sure that you are writing a resume that specifically addresses the employer's requirements. Seek feedback. It's an issue. We don't usually get feedback. One of the reasons why you need mentors or coaches to help you figure that out. And then finally, your mindset is key. It's only the mindset of a growth mindset that will actually be able to go through this easily. So this is where I see people giving up because they don't have a growth mindset. And some people also have this idea that is hinged on the expectations before Canada, like the way they sell Canada out there in the media before you came to Canada, and then you come to Canada, it's a different ball game. And then if you didn't have a strategy, or you're not mindful enough to realize that there are specific ways to go about this, you know what, it won't really take long before you give up and say, no, you what, I'm just gonna keep doing whatever. Before you know it, 5 years is gone. And I've seen a lot of people in that scenario. So these are all the issues that you have to deal with. But yeah, we will talk about the solutions today. But before we do that, we would like to do an assessment because we really want to see where you are on this journey. This is how this session can really be useful to you is to know where you are, and then also to see maybe what you are doing wrong and how you could improve going forward. So if you can scan that QR code, then I'll be able to start the session. I mean the that particular. Give me a sec here. Let me see. I need to start that survey. So let me know if you're able to join that particular session that is there. Um, I've been able to join the survey. Somebody is there with their mic on. Anybody able to join the survey yet? Okay, so I'm gonna start it here. Still trying to join. I don't want to disrupt my screen here.
Can you paste the link like you did the last time? Because we're using the same device, so I'm unable to scan, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let me see if I can quickly. So you want us to paste it in the comment section? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, please, in the chat, and then we'll click it and be able to do the survey.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to start it now. All right. I'm going to share what you are. Let's share the result for you on the screen here. All right. So if you're doing the survey, please do as much as possible quickly choose what applies to you so that we can move on. We have some numbers here that we want to quickly go through. Okay, so how confident are you in your ability to network effectively? One person's confident out of 12. So we still have 6 folks who haven't really responded to this, please. If we get halfway, I'm going to move to the next one because we want to save some time. So we need 2 more people. Okay, I'm going to move on. It doesn't look like some people are active. How often do you attend networking events, online or in person? Okay, 5 people respond. Okay, 6 actually. More than once a month. Occasionally, and somebody has never attended any networking event. So after these questions, I'll go to the entire, the responses we've been getting in the past with all the questions. Okay, I think one more person was active there. So, 2 does regularly. How prepared do you feel for conducting informational interview? Okay, maybe I came to the wrong question. It should be the question. How prepared do you feel for conducting informational? Very prepared. We have one person very prepared. All right, let's move to the next one. How often do you do that? How often do you conduct informational interviews? One does frequently, more than once a month. I guess when it comes to informational interview, the standard will be once a week for an active job seeker. How do you typically find contacts for informational interviews? Mhm. One LinkedIn seems to be low, right? One person from LinkedIn. Professional event, referrals from friends or colleagues. So the person who said other, can you please put it in the comment section? The other person, can you put in the other, because we can learn from that how this person get contacts. If you can put it in the comment section, that would be helpful. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to networking? Okay, initiating conversations, maintaining connections, finding the right people to network with. I'm having network issues here. Let me see. Restore. How effective do you think your follow up after networking event or informational networking event is? Mhm. One person say very effective. Okay. How do you usually prepare for an informational interview? Hmm. It's interesting that zero says seven, setting clear objectives on zero, preparing a list of questions, researching the company and the individuals, and all of the above three. Which of the following do you feel most needs improvement? Okay, following up effectively, all of the above. Okay, so that's the end of that session, but I want to show you the results of what we have done in the past. So this is just an indication of the assessment that a lot of people have done over time. If you look at the numbers we have here, I think overall 25 people have done this, and the success rate has really been 8.3, which shows that yeah, definitely this is an area where a lot of people are not really approaching their job search from in an effective manner. How confident are you in your ability to network effectively? Overall, 7 people have said that they are very confident. Actually, neutral is 7, and then only 4 out of the 22 says they are confident. How often do you attend networking event? We can see only 5 frequent, which is more than once a month. Then when we talk about the use of LinkedIn, 5 out of 25 people says they use LinkedIn regularly. How prepared do you feel for conducting informational interview? Only 4 out of 25 Um, how often do you conduct informational interview? All right, so only one person out of the 25 is doing more than once a month of informational interview. Remember, I said earlier that actually for active job seekers, you are at the minimum supposed to be meeting one person in a week, right? That shows you are actively job searching. How do you typically find contact for informational interviews? 4 out of 25 is using LinkedIn, and this is quite surprising. Though LinkedIn happens to be that tool to networking. But when you look at what we have here, we have 8 people are using referral. Yeah, referral is good to get contact. However, um, the numbers that you have will really be limited to your friends and your colleagues. Professional events is also another one. 7 indicated here they use professional events. Abiola, I don't know the comment we had. Like I was asking somebody if they can share with us the other way that they have been getting contacts. Did anybody make a comment there?
Yes, the person said that they've never done a partnership with partnership.
Okay. All right. So, what is the biggest challenge when it comes to networking? So, 8 here says finding the right people to network with. 5 says initiating conversations. 6 says maintaining connections. So, these happens actually to be the big 3 challenges. All right. Finding the right people to network with, initiating conversations, and also maintaining connections. How effective do you think your follow-up after networking event is? I think here we'll go with somewhat effective. So neutral here, meaning some people didn't feel like they can make an assessment of that. How do you usually prepare for an informational interview? All of the above. So researching the company and the individual, preparing a list of questions, setting clear objectives. All of the above. Which of the following do you feel most needs improvement? Okay, so again, people are saying all of this: confidence in approaching people, that is, striking up conversations, knowing what questions to ask, that is, being prepared to know the type of questions that will help you to build rapport, following up after the informational interview, and also maintaining the relationship going forward. So these are very important areas that we need to focus on when it comes to informational interview skills. So let's move back to the presentation here. Let me go back to the presentation, but I want to know if anybody have any questions before we move forward with the presentation. Any question? Any question that can help us with the conversation? Can put the questions in the chat box, and that will be helpful.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Talking about informational interview, right? Yeah, it takes you to point where you say, okay, what happens when you are really to move it and make the time out for you, and you are just the one like pushing and pushing and pushing.
Can you repeat the question?
What happens when you don't really get to commit to meeting you when you are ready to meet this informational interview.
Okay, when people are not ready to meet you, so it will all depend on the stage where you are in meeting with that person. So you saw when we went through that survey, there are different ways through which you engage with people. If you are specifically referring to people on LinkedIn, which is sort of a cold lead, so to speak. So you just randomly reach out to one person on LinkedIn. Is that the kind of contact?
Yes, that's part of it. There's some maybe people you have met before and they promise that okay, we'll get to talk, they keep reaching out, they keep posting on
Okay. So here's one thing I would say about you see, when we started out the session, I talked about those Pareto rules that they call the Pareto rules of job search. And one of those things is the growth mindset. Um, when it comes to engaging with people, I think we want to look at it from an industry perspective. Um, now, if you were to be selling a product, of course, the product you are selling here is your skills. Now, you realize that even if you have found like a lead, a potential lead for that sale, it is possible that they have a lot of things going on with them that would make them not to prioritize meeting you right away. Okay, so this actually also applies to job search, where it is possible that maybe there are several other things going on in their lives, or it could even be the one that is like most job seekers would readily cite as maybe their experience is that this person is avoiding them, right? So this also will happen. It will happen. So it is sometimes it's a matter of numbers. So how many people are you actually reaching out? From that number, how many of them are actually responding to you and willing to meet with you? That would give you an indication of if you are doing well or you're not doing well. And this is where the mindset thing comes in. If you are reaching out to 10 people and you are reaching out to them effectively, and only two actually indicate interest in meeting with you and they actually move forward with, you are actually doing very well. Even 2/10, you're doing very well. So again, back to the industry scenario that I gave. If you are a salesperson, this will be the same thing. There are people whom you would have thought that, oh, this is a great lead. However, at that point or moment in their life, this is not something that they are engaging with at that point in time. And for these reasons, they might prioritize other things and then they keep pushing and pushing. Of course, if I were you, I will just move on. And it also happens with job search, like even employers that have actually called you for an interview. And then you keep reaching out to them. Okay, what is the outcome of the interview that I did? And you realize that they are not even responding. Okay, if you done it first time, second time, and they're not still getting back to you, what do? You move on. Now, it may happen that later that your path will still cross with that person later, right? Who knows? Maybe at that point in time later is when something really will be available and they're able to support at that point in time, right? So, but one thing we can always do with them is that we can keep the conversation going in terms of, okay, maybe if you saw something of interest to them, you can send it their way without asking anything in return. It still goes back to building rapport, continuing to nurture the relationship, even if nothing is coming out of it at this point in time. You never know, it may be 3 years down the road, it may be even 5 years down the road that the same lead that you thought nothing was going to come out of it, something even very, very substantial might come out of it. So again, it's about building relationships, right? So that's what I would really say about that, because we don't know what that other person is going through as well. Yeah, everybody comes to LinkedIn and appear as if everything is working fine with them, right? He would even see all the job titles of people that we see on LinkedIn that we want to reach out to. That person might actually be out of job, So again, these are things that we do not have control over, but we do have control over ourselves to decide to move on and go look for other stuff or go meet other people that are ready to work with us. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Any other question? Okay, so let me quickly do these preambles about informational interviews before we move forward. I need to give me a sec here. I need to stop sharing what I'm sharing on my stream here. Okay. All right. So informational interview is an informal conversation with an individual who works in a company in a role of interest to you or in your target industry. Okay. Unlike job interviews, these conversations can help you gather information about a career path, not obtain a job. So again, the goals of informational interview is totally not to get a job, but to be able to build a relationship that leads to opportunities. Maybe for information about the industry, about that career, or even about the network or the market in which this person operates. So that is what an informational interview is. When it comes to networking, I think this is the most effective um, type of networking because it builds person-to-person relationship. So when they say networking, what normally is in the head of a lot of people is how many people am I able to connect with at an event, for example. But then those events where you are connecting with people or those contacts you are making at those events would not lead you to anything if you don't actually have like a one-to-one with these people that you have connected with. I hope that makes sense. So this is where I would say going to an event, the logical outcome from that is that you get to convert with these people that I've met at that event for an opportunity to about their industry, about their career, or even more about the opportunities that may be available at their organization. So this is the whole point of informational interview, and it also boils down to this this, do I call it this speech that they say that if you want to become something, surround yourself with people who are already doing that you wish to become. This is where it's coming from. That if you want to, say, for example, in supply chain or in project management, you want to get the role of a project coordinator, the role of an engineer, or something like that. You need to look out for people who are already doing that stuff. And this is where growth mindset also comes in, because you want to learn from their own journey. You want to gain insights from what they have done differently that led them that path where they have been able to integrate successfully in Canada, right? So this is the whole point of informational interview. It doesn't have to lead to them referring you. If it leads to a referral, great, but it doesn't have to lead to a referral. It should just be about building that relationship and nurturing that relationship just so you could gain insights, get opportunities, about the industry in which they are working in. So here are the potential benefits: gathering industry insights, expanding your network, because they can also connect you with other folks within their company or within their industry, uncovering hidden job opportunities. Now, this is where I'll go back to the presentation we did on the job search roadmap. I talked about the concept um, we call hiring pyramid. We said hiring pyramid, it's really speaking about how employers hire in Canada, because they do not really do it through one approach. They can post a job online, but at the same time, they're actually using a recruitment agency. At the same time, they're actually talking to their employees to refer their colleagues. Or they might actually have somebody in that company that is already shadowing that job, while at the same time, they have that job posted online. So the only way you can have any clue as to what that employer is doing to fill that role is if you know somebody inside that company. And we've seen a lot of these where people will go through interviews because they applied online, whereas the employer is also looking through these other methods. So they already found somebody. However, you are being interviewed along with that same person. Maybe that person might even be working in that organization. So at the end of the day, they might tell you, oh, guess what? You are a great candidate. However, we found somebody who is a better fit. So a lot of the times when this happens, it's because they already have a preferred candidate. And this preferred candidate might actually have been found even before they posted that job online or after they posted that job online, because they were going through these other methods. So a lot of the times when this happens to you, and not even know what is going on. But if you had somebody inside, oh, that person might actually be able to say, oh, you know what? There was actually a guy who was in the department who was hired for that job. But if you are only doing this randomly as somebody who is posting, sending application online, and then they brought you in for an interview, you wouldn't have any clue whatsoever that that is what happened in that interview. And this is where a lot of us might mode where we start thinking we are the problem. Oh, maybe we didn't do well at the interview. Oh, maybe they are discriminating me. And we start projecting because we didn't know anybody who could have told us, oh, guess what? You really did well. But you know what? They actually hired somebody who was inside the company already. And we know the obvious reasons why they will do this, because the person understands the culture of the organization. Perhaps this person already understands the tools and the system that they're using. And then you are coming from us. I find you're a great candidate, but if you do come in, it will take some time for you to be able to adjust, to be able to meet people whom you're going to work with, to connect socially with them and things like that. So all of these things are considerations you will never even hear them provide to you. Even when you ask for feedback, they won't provide this information because it could be misinterpreted by you as well. You could interpret it to me, okay, why did you waste my time if you know you had somebody inside the company that you were going to hire, right? So a lot of these things are going on in the back end. So we call it the hiring pyramid. And what we are letting guys know is that if you are job seeker that is active in job search, you should go beyond just applying online. So when I started out, I said that look, the social services, they will tell you how to go about this job search thing, networking, blah blah blah, all that. But all of all of that does nothing. Like, it is just the minimum, and this is why we are need for you to do informational interview, because it will help to connect you with somebody who will really see what is going on in the back end, where there are companies that have unions, and if you're in a nice environment, they will hire somebody who is already a union member, because they have to justify hiring somebody who is not a union member from outside the organization. So a lot of these things happens, and then it is this type of insights we would gain if we know somebody inside the company or somebody within that industry. So opportunity to build rapport with colleagues and explore mutually beneficial maybe projects that you can work together. You can even gain, they can show you some tools that they use and things like that. The other thing is referral. They can give you referral for job opportunities. It might not happen right away. It might happen maybe 2 months, 3 months down the road because they already trust you and they can vouch for you in a way. Even if you have not really worked in Canada, these guys can give your resume to the hiring managers, which help. We discussed that during the job search, the first job search roadmap. So you understood how this work in that if somebody is referring, then it means that is vouching for your capability. And employers believe even more in that than just some random person applying online. So this is also something you can achieve through informational network, but it doesn't have to be your only objective for informational interviews. My emphasis on this particular slide. Um, the emphasis here is building relationship, gaining insights, expanding your network, and potentially knowing about hidden job opportunities. That is what informational interview it's about. And when we talk about the number of times you do informational interview as an active job seekers, this is why we said it should be at least once in a week, because the more people you are able to meet, to converse with, the more information you gain access to, the better you become in your job search. The more insights you gain, the more opportunities that are hidden that you gain access to through informational interview. I hope that makes sense. Abiola, if you happen to have questions, I'm trying not to disrupt my screen here, so I'm not looking in the back end. So here are some networking strategies that will help you to increase the number of contacts that you are able to engage with. So we saw that in the assessment, talking about the how you get contact. So these are some ways that you are able to get contact. So networking events, of course. So like this one we're doing here is a networking event. You can connect with people, but like we already know, what is also very key is when we are connecting with people, we shouldn't just go right out and be talking about, oh, I'm looking for a job, I'm a newcomer, blah blah blah. Nobody wants your burden on them. So we should approach as somebody who has value to offer. Speak more to how you can help their organization. Speak more to the projects you worked on and how that has transformed the company you worked with. Speak more to what you saw in their profile that was of interest to you and how that is similar to something you have done in the past. So take interest in their own journey. Focus on your value proposition rather than, oh, I'm new in Canada, I've been searching for a job, if you can help me. Nah, 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 wah. So all of those will never help you when you are trying to um, do a cold, like to cold leads on LinkedIn. You have to, because again, like I always say, everybody is on LinkedIn for something. Everybody. So we need to be able to reach out from that perspective of somebody who can actually help with whatever they are looking for on LinkedIn. And then from there, conversation can build up towards, oh, how about you? What is going on with you? And then that's when you can, because they ask you, now you can talk about what is going on. But when we are reaching out cold like that, we shouldn't be talking about, I'm looking for a job. So the LinkedIn social graph provides up to 3 levels of connection, which gives you access to contacts across any industry in Canada. I don't know if I've done this before, but I think we normally will do it on LinkedIn. during the LinkedIn session. Let me see if I can quickly do that for us here so that this will make sense for all of us. Um, let me stop sharing this. Let me stop sharing this. So this also is about helping you to increase the number of people you have access to on LinkedIn. Let me sec here. Let me share my LinkedIn so that you can see what I'm yapping about. Okay, so let's go to LinkedIn here. So this is my LinkedIn profile. Now I'm going to go to my profile and go to my network. This is my network right here. Okay, you can see my network, right? Click on manage my network. So these are your connections on LinkedIn. As you can see, I have about 10,625 connections globally. Okay. Now, if you happen to be in Winnipeg or you happen to be in Calgary, I want to look for people who are in Calgary. So I will do this. I'll go search with filters, right? Now, if you look at this, it's showing me 11,000 people. But these 11,000 people, you realize that they are people that I have direct connection with. So these guys are either following me or they have direct connection with me on LinkedIn. Now, what I want to do is I want to look at my entire network on LinkedIn to the third degree. To the third degree. So you will see the filter right here. First, second, and third degree. So this is the second degree connection now. So these are friends of my friends and my friends. Now you see this number changed. What do you have here now? 881,000. All right. Now that is not the last uh I still have more than this to my third degree. So I'll click on the third degree and you'll see how big that number is. Did you see that? 1,080,000. That's a 1 million. Actually, it's 1 trillion. 1,080,000,000 people on LinkedIn that are connected with me. Now, okay, this is a big number, but what I'm really interested in, I'm interested in people within my network that I've not really had contact with, but they are here in Winnipeg. So I will go to locations. Now I will go and look for Winnipeg. If you don't have your city there, type in your city so that I will now bring it down to the number of people that you actually have in your network within Winnipeg, especially those you have not connected with yet. All right. So I have 387,000 people in Winnipeg in my network. Now, this is still a big number. So what is the next thing I will do here? I will now look for people who are actually either in procurement or if I'm specific about a particular role, who are the buyers here in Winnipeg? So I'm looking for a buyer's job. Who are the buyers that are working in Winnipeg that I would like to connect with? So I'll go to all filters. You see all the filters here? Then I will go to title. So I'll put buyer. Okay, so this is buyer here. So I'm looking for buyers in Winnipeg that I can connect with because the role I'm looking for is a buyer's role. So show result. Now it's showing I have 403 people in Winnipeg that are buyers. Okay, that's a large number, right? But this is something you can start with. And like what I really do here, guys, is I just go straight for the kill. I don't waste my time writing anybody because this is a large number. Even if it's just 1% of these people that connect with me, I'm okay to start engaging with them. Right? And remember, this is just bias. So what I just do here, I just click connect. I don't waste time. I just click connect away. See how easy that is to increase the number of people in your network. I just click connect. Not all of them will connect with you. Remember, you are only interested in people who are interested in connecting with you. So that's and boom, within 1 week, you can actually increase the number of contacts you have in your network who are buyers in Winnipeg or in your local area to up to 500. And this is really what we go for when it comes to the number of people that we are trying to connect with in our locality. We're looking for people who are buyers or who are in your profession. If it's engineering, look for engineers, and then you start engaging with people, right? So again, not everybody has to connect with you. When we do the LinkedIn optimization session or leveraging LinkedIn for networking, we will actually go into the detail of all this stuff. But that's really where I will leave it for now. Let's go back to the slide so that we can go finish off on that slide. All right, so I'm back on the slide now. Board of advisors. So you need to have board of advisors if you are really going to be effective in networking. So this board of advisors also happens to be those stakeholders we talked about earlier. So the stakeholders on project, they are the ones that influence the success of a project. So in the same vein, the stakeholders in job search, whom we call the board of advisors here, are also those who are able to influence your success when it comes to job search. So you need to have this board of advisors when it comes to job search. So connect with colleagues, mentors, experts, recruiters, and connectors. So when we say connectors, I'll be an example of a connector, right? If you look at my LinkedIn there, I have about 11,000 people on my network. So if you connect with me for it means those 11,000 people automatically are now within your third degree network. So you want to look for these type of people. So these type of people are usually leaders within your industry. They could be the vice president. They could be maybe even those guys who are volunteering that are leading the association within your industry. Say, for example, Project Management Institute. Those guys who are the president, who are the secretary or whatever, they are connectors because they in that role they are connected with a lot of people within the industry, including those hiring managers that are hiring for those roles. They will also be connectors to those guys. So this is why this board of advisors is very critical. How do you get to meet with this board of advisors? Sometimes it's about volunteering at these organizations. This gives you opportunity to connect with those guys who are potential stakeholders, as the case may be in your job search. So nurturing our current network is also very important. So there are people who are already within our network. Um, so once in a while, engage when they're celebrating birthdays or whatever they're doing. If you're using LinkedIn, sometimes they will post jobs. They will do all these type of things, like share it or even make a comment, like and things. So all of these things, they are little things, you know, but you to keep this helps to keep you on their mind because you're not just somebody who didn't engage after you connected or after you did meet them at an event, right? So you saw that assessment where we said one of the issues people are having is maintaining connection, right? So to maintain connection, you need to keep up with how you engage. Are they organizing an event? If it's free, even if you have to pay for that event, go. This shows you are somebody who adds value. If they are organizing an event or they are doing whatever, how can you support what they are doing? Because this helps you to to be on top of their mind. You're not just one regular or you're not just one random person in their network. You are somebody who is adding value to them. So this is what we call networking in a nutshell. You need to be constantly adding value. Is a mutually beneficial type of an arrangement. It's not something where you are panhandling and asking for help every time or saying you're jobless or you're looking for a job. Nobody likes that. So you need to be somebody of value to be able to network effectively. So I think we asked these questions already. Preparing for informational interview, we saw that during that assessment as well. Conduct detailed research about the organization, uh, their employer, their job title, the responsibility, and also the tenure with their current employer. Make a list of questions. So write out a list of the questions you want to ask them. These questions might focus solely on the person you are engaging with, their work experience, and the company. So again, show interest in their journey because that will help you to gain some insights as to what they have done differently to be in that position where they are. So this is why you need to have questions that actually connect emotionally with them. So I will give this. So and this some of these things are things that I did in my research where I was able to even look at some level, at the psychological level, how you are able to connect with people. So one thing that I do remember is that when you ask them questions that help them to talk about their story of maybe how they've been able to successfully integrate in Canada. When you ask that question, realize that it's an emotional journey for them. And the moment that they are talking about that particular event, you are becoming a part of that event because they are telling it to you. You are becoming a part of that event. And this means that emotionally, you are connected with them at that level. And this is how we build rapport. So when we talk about I do say something about mutual rapport. Mutual rapport being when when we say you are building rapport, it means you are having something in common with that person. And this is what is going on in this research that I'm talking about, where um when somebody is talking about their story and they're talking about it with you, you are in a way becoming part of that story because the brain is experiencing that again, even though they're just telling a story. So you are becoming part of that story, and that helps you to be able to connect with that person at that level where you're no longer just a random person again because you share in that story that they have told you. So this is why it is very important that when we're asking question that helps to get them to tell their story on how they've been able to go through that journey successfully, leading them to where they are at the moment. So the question is a very good strategy. Dress appropriately. So it's not like something you are going and then it's like you're going to play ball or something like that. You're going like you're going for an interview because you never know. This person might be impressed to the point that they are able to say, okay, you know what, let's let's see if I can connect you with somebody within our company who might might be filling a role. So don't take it as if, oh, it's just another chat with another person. So this coffee chat, we're saying it shouldn't be a place where you then go like um somebody who's just going anywhere, not really um dressed to show as somebody who is a professional. So if you know what I mean. So basically aim to dress the same way your job interview. Your goal is to present yourself as a qualified candidate in your chosen industry. And I've told you guys a story about the lady that I worked with in the past who done exactly this. And she was called for a coffee chat, and then that's what led her to the interview um, for and I know eventually she got the job. So these are strategies that you need to put in your toolkit as a job seeker beyond just what they told you about applying to jobs online. Like again, that is the minimum you can do. These are the things you need to do to take it to the next level when it comes to job search. Open-ended questions helps to explore areas of common interest. Remember I talked about building rapport earlier. So you want to ask questions that gets you to, the small talks. So starter questions are usually small talks. Questions about sports, weather, local area, hobbies, travel, entertainment, general interest questions that are very effective for breaking the ice. This is what we use small talks for, right? So you want to find something that is of interest to them. If it's, of course, everybody is interested about the weather in Canada, so everybody will relate with weather. That's something that is very common. Sports, you can use that if you know that they are a supporter of a particular club, or maybe there's a game that happened recently. Depending on your local area, you can speak to that, and this is something that they will readily, be interested in chatting with you. And before you know it, this is something that you both have in common that you're interested in, and that gets the conversation going before you move to the next thing, which is the contextual questions. Having built some rapport and there's a good comfort level established, then you can go ahead and ask a specific career or industry related question. And then finally, show interest. Ask questions that shows interest in your contact's career journey. So I talked about their story earlier. This as a result of getting them to tell their stories. So what question can you ask them? And this strategies also applies to interviews, actual interviews. If you're going for an actual interview, these are strategies that also are very effective. So they would, at some point, they will ask you to tell, they will ask your own questions. Okay, they have been the one asking you questions, right? Okay, how about you ask some questions? These are times to then ask the type of question that shows interest, especially in the hiring manager. So you can ask the hiring manager, maybe, okay, what is the one of the most challenging project that you have worked on in this organization, or what's one of the project that you worked on the most impact on you or in your professional development. See, getting them directly. It's not just talking about the industry. It's not just talking about the job. It's talking about them, and then that type of thing that will help you to be on the top of their mind amongst every other candidate that came to that interview. That will stick with them because that is something that is targeting them and showing that you take interest in their own journey as well. All right. So this will be something that you would use at an interview as well. So we talked about small talks earlier. It's again, these small talks are things that you should also use at interviews. If you go for an interview, don't be like, oh, too serious to smile. Smiling is one of the key things you can get somebody to see you as a friendly person, right? And then also beyond smiling, the small talks, you can talk about the weather. Oh, it feels great today, just something like that. And then that could get them talking about the weather, and before you know it, you guys are chatting, at a comfortable level that they feel really comfortable with you. And when it comes to interview, all right, and I'm going to add this to this, though it's not here. When it comes to interview, do you really feel it's about what I know or how capable I am, or is about who am I comfortable with to work with? Who do I feel is a person that would be able to fit in easily within this organization? And they say this every time. They will say we want somebody who has a good fit with the company. And these are the soft skills that they are looking for when they are interviewing people. However, a lot of the times, because we're too fixated on that job search approach that they told us when they were teaching us about job search, we were just over taking nerves that we were not appearing that would really be relatable, a person that would we can find it easy to work with. And this is some of the things that are missing when we go to interviews, because we're not showing personality, and it's just all about, we're just being robotic, talking about the jobs, the process, and everything. Yeah, you are good at all of that, but it will feel great to work with as a person, or is this something easily within my team? These are the questions that are not on the paper, and this is why I say sometimes it's even not what you said. It's not about what you said at the interview. It's just the way the way they see you as a person who is relatable to work with. That is what actually tips the scale for them. And I also mentioned that when we are doing assessment of people at interviews, there's actually a checklist that we use. So this checklist has nothing to do with what you have said in terms of your capability. It actually is assessing your soft skills. We'll be asking the questions like, oh, did this person interrupt during the interview? Yes or no? So, and those things are not things you said at the interview. It's just the way we saw you, okay, and maybe your mannerism or your attitude. Then the other question is, did this person check to confirm the question before they answered it? This shows you were listening. We observed that when you were asking the questions, when we're asking you the questions, you didn't even check to say, okay, so is this what you meant? Just asking clarifying question to check if you actually heard us well, or what we're actually asking you is what you understand. That shows listening skills. We also will ask that question. So we had about 10 questions we'll ask, which are totally has nothing to do with, what you know. It's just soft skills. And these are the things that are going a long way to determine if this is the right person for the job, or if this person would fit within the team. All right. So, bonus. So these are some sample informational interview question. All right. Any question yet, Aviola? Okay. General question: what is the typical entry level salary in this field? What kind of people experience the greatest success in this field? About their job, what kind of problems do you deal with, maybe daily? Preparing for the if you were entering this career today, would you change your preparation in any way to facilitate entry? So again, these are informational interview questions about career journey. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? All right. So you are asking that person, where do they? So this also is taking interest in. This is talking specifically about them. Where do they see themselves in the next 5 years? Okay. Now about company's culture, what are the people like with whom you work? Okay. So you are trying to learn about their culture. And I remember somebody who I worked with has reached out to a company, somebody within a company. There was a job posting, and it happens that that person is the one who actually left that job. Okay, guess what? The person said, I wouldn't really advise to go for that job because I actually left that job because it was a toxic work environment. Now, you wouldn't have known that if you didn't reach out to this person. And sometimes the prayer that we're praying that we get is really the wrong prayer, in that you don't want to go and work with a company where they're making your life hell. Nobody is praying for that. Know this if you had not reached out to people within the company to know that it's actually not a good place to work. And who knows, that person really will have saved your life, literally. About companies' needs, okay, what is a typical career path in this field or organization? So these are the kind of questions that you can ask. So star method is the one that I would also like to talk about. Star method applies to interviews as well, like if you're going for an interview. So situation, task, action, result. When we are speaking to how we add value to organization, we want to follow this format. That okay, we talk about that situation, and okay, what were the tasks that were at hand to resolve that situation, and what specifically did you do, or what you did not do, and then what were the outcome of those. So this will be in communicating how you add value, okay, or how you have added organization. So these are the do's and don'ts of informational interview. All right. Do your research, gather information about the industry, career, the role. Also learn about the contact career journey. Okay, so it's very, very important to know about their own journey so that you can speak to their journey. You can ask questions that shows you have really done your own work on their own journey. Respect their time. If you ask for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, wrap things up. See, again, the goal is building relationship. If they gave you 30 minutes and then you are stretching it and you are stretching it, it's going against the objective of the informational interview already, because you're breaching the trust this person had reposed in you that this is a 30 minutes thing. So only if they are enjoying the conversation and they say, okay, well, you know what, you can go on, then you can then ask more questions beyond the time that they are giving you. The moment you know you are 30 minutes away from the time you had given them, you should be asking your last question at that point in time, 10 minutes before the end of the time that you have agreed with them. So ask good questions, be prepared with a list of good questions, make sure they are open. And again, this is something that is very important here. We shouldn't be asking a yes or no question. The questions we should be asking are questions that helps to get the conversation going, that it doesn't stop them from conversing openly. So open-ended questions are the questions that we should be asking. So are the don'ts. So don't hope to get referred. Okay, that is not the goal. The goal here is to build relationship. The goal here is to gain insights. The goal is for you to get recommendations, or to learn about their journey. So it's not about you getting referrals from them. If they want to refer you, let it happen from them naturally. If they feel that this person is a great person, I would like to refer to my boss, let it come from them, not you pushing. In fact, have your resume with you when you go for the interview, but don't push your resume. If they say, okay, let me have a look at your, oh, do you have your resume here? Then that's when you should present your resume. Don't go with the hope that you want to show off your resume. And I've seen it a lot. There are people who go to events and be shoving their resumes at events. That's totally not good. If they ask for your resume, great. If they ask for your resume, it means you have done your own work. That's why they're asking for your resume. So you need to do the proper things first, and then they will ask for your resume, and that will be something that they will be, you can be sure that they will do what is necessary, which is referring you. But you shoving your resume, it's no guarantee that anybody, in fact, it might be a turn off for them. And what would then be the point of breaching that relationship just because you are just focused on your own need, right? That's not good in any relationship, right? So don't ask for favors. You already asked for a favor, which is to meet with them. They gave you that, but then you are now pushing, pressuring them to accept your resume, or so you don't want to do that. Let them ask, right? Okay. So use a word or a phrase to describe the insight you gain from this session. So I'll leave this one. I think it has to do with some other stuff. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. If you guys don't have question, this is just a point for you to ask your questions. And Abiola, I don't think you have any question there. No question.
No question.
All right. So then, what would be the next logical step here? So all of the things that we have said earlier, I think you should be addressing them. So when it comes to job search, a lot of things actually hangs on effective communication. Yeah, we can talk about informational interviews. So I've said a lot of things here that has to do with effective communication, like the small talks, right? Like how to ask open-ended questions, like how to initiate conversations. So all of this has to do with effective communication. So I would encourage that if it is something that it would help you, I recommend it to any job seeker. So we do have workshops on public speaking, effective communication workshop, and I think also pronunciation as well. So all of these things, even though um, a lot of people might not think they are critical, they really help. One of the challenges we have, which I didn't talk about at the beginning because we're talking about informational interview, is the social cultural differences, and it gets in the way. A lot of you might realize that when you are speaking, they are saying, pardon me, pardon me. They're saying, pardon me, because they are not hearing what you are saying. So you want to, again, growth mindset is about continuously learning. Like, what are you doing differently? um what can you do differently to help you improve in your job search or in your integration in Canada? So effective communication is fundamental, because even though they say effective communication, a lot of the things we have said here today has to do with effective communication, right? So that's why I would recommend that. Then also we have a job search accelerator service, which will work with you one to one and do assessments on your journey and things that you have, and like help you position better. Um, LinkedIn optimization, resume optimization, mock interview, and then also strategy. Like, what are the strategies? So one of the strategies we talk about here today is the socializing your job search, and informational interview is a tool for achieving that. So we work on those strategies and track them actually to see how you're really doing. Just if you look at the assessment, we talk about the number of informational interviews you are having in a week. So we want to track this to make sure you are putting in the numbers when it comes to informational interview, so that you can get the results beyond just online applications, right? So those are the things that we will do. But if you want to have more, conversation about this with us, you can scan on that link, and then we'll have a 15 minutes focused discussion where we can talk about, your journey so far, and maybe things that you might have to do to get you going. If you're on LinkedIn, if you look at my profile, you will see book an appointment is the same. That particular link leads to the same schedule of booking of 15 minutes phone call with me, so that we can talk more about your specific challenges and how we can address those issues. Okay, so that's it. I don't know, Biela, you
There's
have
a
a question?
question in the chat. It says most people ask to have a good LinkedIn profile. What is a good profile, please?
I didn't get that question.
Most people ask to have a good LinkedIn profile. I'm thinking the person means like optimizing your LinkedIn, and is asking what is a good profile,
What is a good
good
profile?
LinkedIn profile.
Okay, let me, when it comes to a good profile, there are several criteria, not just one criteria. And this is where we do the LinkedIn optimization session, right? Which is different from this session. So in the criteria, you need to have a picture, a professional picture with a clean background, no distraction. And then they are seeing your head, right? Like it's just below your neck area, not something like you are at a party, you have a drink in your hand or something. That wouldn't be good. And then also those who don't have pictures, it's not good. You can't be reaching out to me without a picture. Like, who am I connecting with, right? So that is also another thing. You also want to make sure that your LinkedIn is actually public. Now, there are some settings on LinkedIn where if you don't activate those settings, you might be reaching out to people, and they won't even see anything on your profile, because you've not really set it that way that they would see your profile. So you want to go to do some settings on your profile to make sure that everything is available, they can see you. So I'm saying this because some people actually have pictures. But then in that profile, public profile settings, their picture is set to not open to public. Meaning, if you reach out to me, because we are not connected, I wouldn't see your picture. That makes sense. So that is about picture. Of course, you need to have about section, and your about section needs to make sense. It doesn't have to be boring, just things you did at work. Like, you talk about your personality, like put some personality in your about section. Let them know this is somebody who, has some perspectives to life. Like, if you have some type of motivational thing, motivational word, or a quotation that, or a quote is what they call it, that inspires you, you can put it there, so they kind of gives them a window to, oh, this is this kind of person, like give it some personality. Yeah, so the about section. Recommendations. Recommendations are very, very important. If you don't have recommendations on your LinkedIn profile, um, I would say when people go to your profile, like, they need to see some social proof. Recommendations are social proof that what you are claiming is indeed who you are. Like, if people are reaching out to you on LinkedIn as a random person, these are the things that gives them that, social proof that this is somebody is worth connecting with. you know you need to have your experiences there. You need to have your skills are also very important. You need to have that relates to the job you're seeking. All right. So many things. I mean, I can go on and on. Like, this is where we have a separate session for this, which is called the LinkedIn optimization. Yeah, it might be the next thing we talk about, maybe the second week of next month. We can talk about that. But if you absolutely want to work with us on this so that, all of these things can be addressed, I would say let's have a chat first and then we can take it from there. All right. Any other question? No question. Okay, yeah, I guess we've exhausted the time here today. It's 10 minutes to 1. I still have a training at 4 p.m. Thank God I have some time to be able to, breathe before that. So, thanks for joining us, guys. Olawande, Onye, Odoayo. I hope this session made sense to you guys. Adebimpe Chinedu, um, Kenny. Hope that I got that right. Yeah, some people came after the session started. Perpetual, right? And okay, Jonathan is still there. So, guys, share your LinkedIn URL so that the people that are here today can connect with you. Start building your network. And then don't stop at just connecting with them. Reach out, like what we have talked about here today. Practice it with each other. How about that? And get the ball rolling. Okay, so that's what I would like to say here. Somebody is talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm Rudolph Dakam. So that I'm sorry about the dates because I have connection when you already start the meeting.
Okay.
But I listening that you speak about the skill and the recommendation when we are on uh, uh, our about skill about but now I have some question about the skill because see that we need to have a skill.
Yeah.
But now when sometimes we apply about a job, a lot of firms ask us to have a Canadian skill. How can not have it when you are a newcomer like me?
Yeah.
And
That's
secondly, you are speaking about the recommendation,
yeah.
but a lot of people like me can arrive here in Calgary without have recommendation. All cannot do to have it.
Okay, so
That
let me answer the easy one.
yeah.
So the easy one is recommendations. So you can get recommendations from your bosses back home. Does that make
All
sense?
right.
can get recommendations from your colleagues. What's your profession? Oh, okay. So you can get recommendations from maybe the customers you have worked with in the past, but they have to be on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you can actually get a written recommendation from them and then post the file so that they can see that a customer recommending you. Yeah, so those will be the first type of recommendations you will get from people who have worked with you before, right?
Yeah.
Your colleagues, your supervisors, your suppliers, your customers, everybody you are opportunity who were able to experience your service or your experience. Those will be your first goal, first people to reach out to.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the
Now,
second,
about the team. Yeah.
so you have another, it's the same question you asked earlier.
No, it's the same question, please.
Okay. So the Canadian experience, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the Canadian work experience, uh, you know that newcomers don't have Canadian work experience. So there are different ways you can actually approach this, depending on your situation and your profession. You said you're a plumber. You can actually volunteer,
Yeah.
and that will help you to get, because the type of profession you have is actually hands-on. So you get that experience through volunteering, maybe with non-profit. Okay, there'll be a lot of non-profit who will need your type of help. I mean, your type of stuff is something that is very handy. And then even at that, you can do this for people maybe at a lower price or something like that, to get people to actually work with you, So I'm speaking of this because I know your own profession is a little bit different, although you will need licenses in this type of profession. So, but here is this volunteering can help um, to have that experience where somebody or an organization especially can vouch for your experience. Aside from volunteering, there is also maybe internship, which might not apply to you, but there is also what they call apprenticeship, right? Isn't it in trades? So that will be another way to get the experience. I think I know somebody who's gone through which is just some weeks program, and it's apprenticeship with a particular company. I think it's heavy mechanic experience that person had. So from there, they were able to gain that experience. And but usually this type of experience you would get it through schools, right? Because schools have that structure where they're able to engage with the industry and then offer students so for those of you who might be into other profession and who probably graduated recently, there's a particular organization that I work with. They call them Venture Canada, is it? Let me see. So I'm talking about other guys. So especially those who are in school or just finished school. So they yeah, Venture for Canada. That's their name. So yeah, you know them?
Just to have a competition, please.
Venture for Canada.
Yeah, so that's the venture for Canada.
Yeah.
It's just to have a graduation.
So they help schools, I mean students. That's their own focus. So that might not apply to you, but this might apply to those who finish school or they are still in school and they need some type of experience. So they will, like recently they assigned some to me for some of the, actually the project is on the job search accelerator. We want to kind of upgrade and scale it. So I'm working with some of the students that they assigned, about 3 students to me to work with me in November. So these guys will help with that. I know there are other organizations out there, who through them we can and get experiences as well. So internship, like the other one that I mentioned. So internship, like the jobs accelerator that I'm talking about, is also part of internship is part of that this program, the job search accelerator. So this would apply to specifically those who are in administrative functions like project management, operations management, procurement, whatnot. So this job search accelerator has that component as well. So and there might be other like projects. Um, Type of projects that you can work on that give you the hands-on experience. So especially those who are in tech, you might work on this type of things. Like the internship that I talked about, also for those who are in project management, I am reaching out to small businesses within our community who would like to work with an intern through us. So this is also part of job search accelerator. So these are also different ways that people can get that experience. So I hope that answered your questions,
All right, thank you
Rodolphe.
so much. So, if you allow me, I have a someone other extra question. If you allow me,
Do we have any other questions, Abiola?
yeah, please. I know that another one barrier that we have when we are a newcomer, a francophone newcomer,
Hmm.
is the language, is English.
Okay.
But I undertook that when the newcomer arrives here to learn English, the government can help them to learn English,
Hmm.
and it can give them the
Okay.
subvention. Yeah, the subvention. I don't know if even now is is available to have a subvention to government
Mm.
when we are learning English, please.
I don't really have information about that. I guess the best thing is for you to reach out to the social services in your area. So I don't know where you are, if it's Edmonton or Calgary, you might want to reach out to this, because there are specific organizations that actually offer this English as a second language, and they offer it through these social services.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in Calgary.
Yeah, so you want to reach out to social services there, and through them they will connect you with those type of support, or so those type of resources.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
I'm very glad.
yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, guys. Any other question?
Just one more. And in his absence, can I volunteer in a supply chain space?
Okay, so I didn't get that.
Can you get
Yeah, so if yes, anybody is talking about supply chain area, just schedule a 15-minute session with me, and we're going to talk about the volunteering aspects. All right, that's it. Okay then, thanks guys for joining today. Looking forward to next week. Today actually we're supposed to have guys who are in supply chain analytics, for an informational interview. But I guess this also gave us an opportunity to kind of cover the basics. So hopefully they'll be ready for next week to join us for informational interview on, or we can call it an info session on supply chain analytics career. So I'm still working with them. I think I'm supposed to meet somebody within the week, and yeah, see how that works out. But in lieu of that, we can talk about another topic. I'm thinking supplier relationship management certificate. I'm thinking maybe Microsoft Dynamics, whatever. We'll do something regardless of what the outcome is in my engagement with the guys who are into supply chain analytics. Okay, see you guys next week. Thanks, Abiola, for the support always. Angie, if she's still here. Thanks everybody who joined us today, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Gudu. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.